Hello everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith and this is Sword and Sorcery, and we're still continuing our playthrough as we're inside the cathedral now finally, and we're right next to the next story event. Now based on the feedback you guys gave me in the prior video, you were saying to press on, let's get moving, let's get this thing done. So I'm going to do that. I'm not going to worry myself too much about the gremlin kind of lurking behind me. I'm hoping that Samira will eventually be able to catch up and do something about it. Maybe that will be the strategy. But my goal right now is to get these guys to this event and then to go from there and see what happens. It's a little scary because I don't know what's going to happen. Onamor in the last video already went, so he's been fully resolved, and now we only have Samira and Skeld left to go. So there's no point necessarily in activating Samira because she'd get 1, 2, 3, and then I could maybe dash here for the last action. I couldn't even fight the gremlin, and then it would just activate the gremlin. The gremlin would then likely come after Skeld because he has the most money. So really activating her right now makes no sense. I might as well activate Skeld and have him go towards the cathedral. So Skeld is going to activate and do a movement activity, and when he does so, he can move up to 3. So he's just going to move into here for now, and the event is here. So I'm going to go ahead right now and breaking up my movement to reveal this card and find out what it means. So we got story event number 2, and it says read and apply the story event effects described in this story book. Okay, so if we head to the story book, I've already got the page opened, at least in this one, because I don't know exactly what's going to happen. Book of Secrets, story event number 2, 1.2. So that's where we're going to in the Book of Secrets. Again, I'm not going to show this on camera for risk of spoilers and whatnot. I will read it out to you guys as you get to see a lovely view of the cathedral. Here we go, 1.2. So, the cathedral's entrance is a battlefield, the bloody floor strewn with the bodies of the guardian clerics and the gremlins. Near the sacred altar, High Cleric Claudius is surrounded by gremlins, but before anyone can react, one of the creatures lashes out, driving its claws deep into the old cleric's chest. The light in the eyes of this gremlin is bright and wickedly alive, betraying a malevolent intelligence that marks it as a chief. The heroes cannot do anything but avenge the High Cleric and kill the abomination. Place the red gremlin in story event 2 area. So essentially, we have a red gremlin, which is going to locate itself right here next to Skeld in the story event 2 location. So we have this guy is the one that the story just implied has shown up. And so he's obviously going to be nasty because we've never fended off a red one yet. Then it says to open the shrine in waypoint 2. So this is going to give us this shrine here now opens up. So that's a good news. We're going to go ahead and close this shrine over here. So this is the one that's currently active at the moment. And then we're going to go ahead and it says if there are more than 3 heroes, now there's not, you'd spawn 1 enemy in the story event 2 area. So there'd be another enemy showing up here if we had 4 or more heroes, but that is not the case. So then we go to the next bullet, which says spawn based on the number of heroes minus enemies in waypoint 2. Now we have 3 heroes alive at the moment and 1 enemy in the back here, so that's going to give a difference of 2. So we're spawning 2 enemy cards, and we know based on the prior gameplay videos that these are going to be blue because we already pulled the green ones. So we're going to go ahead and put these. I'm going to attach them to Skeld, although it doesn't matter because I'm playing solo, but in a more player game you'd do so. I'm attaching both of them to Skeld, basically. So we have green and we have blue in play. And we know the blue ones are nasty because they, well, they're just bad. They're bad because of their silly spine's ability and a bunch of other things that are nasty, including their slash. They take slashes off from our hits, all that nasty stuff. So anyway, they're in play. Let me go ahead and grab them. Now, where do they start? It says they show up in waypoint 2 area. So they're going to show up over here next to the shrine, which is okay, I guess, because they're out of range. But not really, because they're technically, well, yeah, they are out of range, because based on the site marker, they can't make a mark to where I am. Oh, nope, they can't make it. This one right here does not connect to here. So range-wise, they'd have to come into play and attack me with claws. But regardless, they're right next to me, so it's going to be a bloodbath of melee fighting, basically, in this room. So that's that, and then it says place a story event 2 card revealed side up on top of the event deck. So this is going to go right here, and the reason for that is it's going to give us a little bit extra time to play a round extra than we would have expected before. And we resume play until the red gremlin dies, and then we go to 1.12. So as of right now, our goal is to just kill the red gremlin, okay? So that's going to be our focus. Now, what I don't know based on the story is is it better at this point, strategy-wise, to be killing off the easier ones first and then the red? Or is there some type of story event that says if I kill the red one first, the blue ones go away? That I don't know. That you guys might know that. So I hope I don't pick either way there and make you cringe inside as you watch it. But I'm going to probably focus my attention on the red one unless he's got incredible healing. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the green scroll. Actually, I don't need to because technically we have one of every different kind here. So it's going to get a little cluttered, but just bear with me. So we're going to have a red one here. And let's just take a look at what the red one does. At the end of each enemy turn, if this enemy was not activated, ouch. Okay, that's a passive ability. That's pretty bad. Banding 2, if enemies control its area, claws attack inflicts +2 hits, ouch. And then Sharp Spines, if the enemy suffers damage, all heroes in the area suffer 1 HP, ouch. So that's pretty impressively strong. And again, their attacks are much, much greater than the blue ones by going up to 3 and on those dice, and they still have that -1 armor. So that's not good. I'll keep the red one over here for now, but we'll go back to the battlefield. So essentially at this moment, Skeld has used a movement activity. He did his story event, which basically resolves in the middle of that, and I can still go ahead and do what else I want with movement, but at this point I'm kind of stopping. Because I cannot do anything else when I'm engaged in combat, and obviously fighting is what I'm going to want to do, and right now is a good time to do it because these guys are not in the room, so I can have Skeld just take at least take a combat action against this guy and see what I can pull off. I also still have an action, which I could either use to focus my attack, or I could... That's probably what I want to do, really. So I'm going to use an action, I think, to focus my attack, which will give me a hit, an automatic extra hit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up using the Guardian attack, which is a slash weapon. Now when I'm using that against the red gremlin, let's take a look at the scroll really quick. Do I lose anything to slash on that gremlin? I don't think so. What I am noticing though is, let's see. Sorry guys, just give me 1 second here. I have to actually... What I want to do is grab the red card, because that's one thing I don't actually have out. The red gremlin card, because I imagine that makes a difference. Oh my gosh. That is bad. Okay, so... Am I looking at this right? This is ridiculous. Okay, so this is the monster that I'm fighting right now. And again, this is going to be on... being Skeld's boat. So technically, I guess, in terms of which monster should be connected to who, Onum already had the green one. Who popped up first was the red one, so the red one would actually attach itself to Skeld. And then the blue one would go in rotation to the next character, which would be Samira. So Samira essentially has control of the blue ones. And then we've got all the different types and ranks dispersed evenly, although it doesn't matter for solo play so much, but just for correctness. But that's a pretty insane ability. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this scroll, put it here. I'm going to take this scroll and put it here. And that way we have space. So right now we're dealing with the red one, and the red one has pretty nasty stuff. So again, I'm using a slash weapon, so I lose a hit. So you can basically say my focus has been wiped out just to start. And again, this guy has armor. We are attacking it with 3 heroes, so it has 6 health. It's kind of strong, but I'm going to do my best to try to do this. So right now, let's see here. What can I do? I'm using my major weapon, so 1 red, 2 blue. I do get a hit off the weapon alone, so that will basically be blocked. So then we're basically starting at an even slate when I go into this combat attack. So here's the roll, and let's hope that I get some damage because I need it. Come on, Skeld. Do something severe here. Oh my gosh, that was terrible. Okay, so what can I do with that? So basically these 2 are a waste. I can't reroll anything. I've got 1 bolt, which for Skeld is useless because he needed 2 in order to do an extra attack. So that's too bad. So really 1 hit got through. That's so bad. Now here's the worst part about this is I think it says here, if this enemy suffers damage, all heroes in its area suffer a damage. So technically Skeld now got hit with a damage just for doing a damage. So a little bit of pain right back at him. Oh, that was painful. Okay, so this is not good. Not good at all. Really not good. Okay, so that's the end of his turn. I can't do anything else with Skeld, so that was his 1 attack, and his turn is done. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to be pulling an encounter card. I'm hoping it doesn't activate the red ones. Please don't. We are activating all faith-based enemies. Otherwise, the active hero must shift one used action back to 1. Oh, that's actually really good. So here the question is do we have any? Oh, we don't. We don't. They're all dexterity-based guys. So this is a perfect one to get because it doesn't activate anyone. So what's going to end up happening is I have to choose one of my talents, essentially, or powers, I should say, is what I should be saying, and flip it to 1. Now, this one here, this is a passive power, so I could use this one to flip it, but I'll probably just do, actually, maybe I will do Frenzy. I'll flip the Frenzy one. It says any, right? I think I have a choice there, so let me just double check that. Activate all, otherwise an active hero must shift one used power back to 1. My mistake. I don't think, back 1. Okay, so this would be this guy here. So why is that on 4? That doesn't seem right. That should be on 2. So basically so sorry guys, just a correction there. I don't know what I did, but in the last video I had it on 4. It wouldn't be on 4, it'd be on 2. But now it's going to go back 1, meaning it's going to be 3. So it's basically like I'm probably never going to see that again. It's going back so far. But that was just my mistake. I think I was describing that in one of the prior videos, and instead of leaving it with a 2 timers up for using the ability, as you can see, when I'm level 1 soul rank, it's on 2 always. I think I accidentally left it on the 4. But we go back 1 extra one, that puts us at 3. So that's going to be 3 rounds away from me ever seeing that one again. And again, we don't have to activate any enemies, so that's a huge plus. So that's a good thing, I guess. I'm going to toss that to the side, and now we can move to Samira. Now, Samira is really, really far away. So the fun part with this is trying to get her within range of anything. This is tough. Let me see here. Oh, I didn't even notice. The gremlin has 2 blue dice. Does it roll defense? Okay, that's cruel. So sorry guys, I guess I have to roll defense against with this gremlin. This gremlin gets not only 1 armor but 2 defense, so I may not even have done this damage, and if I didn't, then no, I didn't. So no damage on him whatsoever, which means if I didn't do damage on him, I would have never gotten hit. Oh, that's insane. That's craziness. My apologies. I totally missed that. I've never seen an enemy with damage on it before, or with the ability to roll defense. That's incredible. Okay, well, didn't see that coming. So now what I'm going to do is, well, Samira's just got to get close to people, so she's going to use her move. She's going to do a movement activity to go 1, 2, 3, and then of course I will do a dash action to get her here. But that's as far as she can get. She doesn't have any ranged weapons, so her turn is done, meaning I have to pull another encounter card, which is probably going to hurt me. Activate all purple enemies, otherwise activate all highest rank. So there we go. The red one is being activated. Ugh. So the red one here is going to go. So when we activate, it's again at 0 range. Move to engage. It's going after the one with the least health. So that's not good. And I can just do a quick double check, but I believe currently everyone is at full health. So I just want to make sure that actually is least health, or is it most HP? That's where I'm going to have to double check. Again, sometimes the symbolism on the cards are not 100% clear, as it shows. I don't know if that's talking about wounds or total HP, but I'm thinking it's the most damaged character. But currently we don't have any damage, so then it's my choice. But essentially there's only 1 character in there, so it's automatically going to be Skeld. So, Skeld, you are going to be attacked by the red gremlin, and it's going to be with claws, and those claws are going to do 3 red damage, and it's going to minus 1 off your armor as well. So basically your shield is useless, and it's going to be 3 red dice coming at you. Pretty hefty. This is going to be quite the attack. I hope this isn't bad. Okay, not terrible. I've seen nastier rolls. So that's 3 hits, 2 stars, and and the stars mean nothing for this red, and as well as the bolts. So that's good. No bonuses there. But again, still 3 hits through. So now I need to find a way to defend those. So now I'm going to be using, in terms of defense, I'll be wearing I've got my leather vest, which gives me 3 blue dice, and then I have a reroll if I get some bolts. So I'm hoping to be able to block this. I'm just putting these off to the side for now. And that was not what I needed. I got a lot of hits and nothing good. Let's roll again. There's my reroll. Nothing again. So I used my bolt to reroll, but it did nothing for me. So that did not work out. Okay, so I'm taking 3 hits with no... That is really bad. Okay, so we're at 2 and 1. But I guess if I can get up there with rage, it actually could work out with me. But it's only 1 extra hit. It's really not that great. Okay, so what happens here if I get hit? So I was hit. I already negated the armor, so we're good. And does anything else happen? If enemies control, they don't. There's no sharp spines there. Nope, nope, nope. And we're good. I mean, we're not good. We're hurt, but we survived somehow. So basically now her turn is done. So I flip this over to the end bookmark. And we're done our hero's turn. So all this has been resolved, and now we're going to move to the event phase. So we're going to resolve the top card. So the top card is the story card. It's just being discarded. Basically, again, giving us some time. We have this card right here and this one next, and then we're done. So that's going to be essentially 1 round here, 1 round to flip, 1 round to discard. We've got 3 rounds left coming up to try to take out this red gremlin, and I don't know if we have to get the rest of them killed or not, but the story says to go after this guy, so that's who we're focusing on. Now we go back to the time phase. In the time phase, our effects cleanup happens, so obviously, and our power is refreshed. So this is going to go from a 3 timer to a 2 as it starts to cool down. Do we have anything else that can happen to any of our guys in the time phase? Not in this area. And what about up here? Nothing for her. And nothing for Skeld, so I think we're okay. Oh, sorry, Skeld's. This one here is going to flip. Oh, sorry, that was not supposed to be flipped anyway. So the Frenzy's there. I never used that. I think I left that there when I was deciding what to flip over until I realized that I was supposed to use a use spell in order to increment that up. So that I'm not doing right now. That should have been face up the whole time anyway. And I think that's it. So we're good for effects, powers, cooldowns, soul enhancements, and resurrection. So we move to the battle phase. So we're right back to square one. So we can flip our bookmarks over, and now we have the beginning of our basically last 3 rounds before we either win or lose. And I don't know what's going to happen, but it's getting tight. So I don't know what I can do here. This is going to be really interesting. But what I want you guys to do is now there's a playing field set. And this one, I'm going to stop right here because I want your guys' feedback on this. You can see what I've currently got set up. You can see we have 1 green gremlin in play. We've got 2 blue gremlins in the corner here. We've got a red one in the room here with Skeld. What I want you guys to do is give me your feedback below as to how I should go about this. Now, it doesn't need to be super detailed. You don't need to go into crazy detail if you don't feel like it. But if you want to, go for it. But I'm trying to figure out what you think is a good activation order. Because remember, we can activate whichever whichever hero we want in whichever order we want. But again, remember that the enemy turn gets to happen after every hero goes, as long as there's enemies in play. So there's some strategy right now in terms of who we should be activating to kill who and when. So, I mean, obviously Samira can activate and pretty much annihilate the green one. That would be a pretty swift kill, but then would allow for an activation from these guys. Whereas I could have some attacks against the red-green gremlin happen first as a first priority. Maybe there's something we can do abilities-wise. I know, for instance, Samira has a voodoo doll, which I think is going to come in really handy because I know this green gremlin, or this red gremlin, puts a lot of damage on characters, and if I can get Samira, maybe not this turn, but second turn, to here or somewhere close by to put a voodoo doll on this guy, when he does damage to her, if I can make that happen by her having some damage on her and being the focus, potentially by drawing aggro or provoking the enemy, then that would be really cool because we could actually have the voodoo doll do some work for us to put some damage on her. But I don't know. There's all kinds of options and strategy here. This is actually quite the layout. So I want you guys in the comments below, like I said, to give me some feedback. If you like the playthrough so far, give me a thumbs up. This has been a crazy one. To be honest, playing 3 characters at once and doing this all on camera is quite a bit of work, especially live without any changes. So it's really, really fun, but it's a lot to think about in terms of strategy and who should go first and when. So again, if I've made any mistakes along the way, I really do appreciate all the feedback. And don't worry, I'm not taking it personally. I really do enjoy the fact that you guys are invested in this just as much as I am. So until the next video, guys, thanks for watching, and let's see what we can do to clean up the chapel and win this scenario. Until next time, keep on rolling solo.